basically assumes that if you're releasing an animated film, you release an art book nowadays. That's just how it goes. But when you're a short, not so much. So I was really surprised when I saw an art book called The Art of Mr Hublot. If you don't know, this won the Academy Award for Best Animated Short last year in 2014. It's a Luxembourgish animated film, short film, and it is so adorable. It definitely deserved the award. It's great. And what's so cool is that they came out with an art book for this. This is so rare, basically unheard of. They don't do books for shorts. So basically the reason this is in existence is they put together basically their version of a Kickstarter, and they said if we reach a certain level of funding, we are going to release this art book. And I'm so glad that they did, because I am fascinated with the process of animation, and I don't care whether it's a feature-length film or a short, and the fact that I got to see the process between making this amazing short was so cool for me. So this book is really interesting. It is in both French and English. So you're gonna have one page, you're gonna have a paragraph of French and a paragraph of English. They're gonna say the exact same things. So if you're learning French or you're learning English, vice versa, it's a great way to practice. But if you don't know the other language, then just read what you know. So as a result, the text might be a little less than you are used to, and that's totally fine. The book itself is about 150 pages, which is incredible. This is your standard book length for an animated film that is so much longer, and the fact that this is just equal to what we get with the other ones is great in my opinion. It's not just here's 20 pages, there you go. They really put a lot of effort into this. So the first chapter is called Layering the Foundation. So this is where we talk about the storyboards, which is really where everything starts. The designs of the characters. There's only basically two characters in this film, Mr. Hublot and the robotic dog. Then we talk about ambiance and the color script. So getting all those things worked out beforehand before we actually go into the animation. The next chapter is called The Characters, and I know I said we had a little bit of that in the previous chapter, but those are just brief. This really goes into detail about Mr. Hublot and the dog and some of, the background ancillary characters that we see in the film. Not too much development on what are these guys going to look like. It's kind of, here's what they look like, and now here we're designing the clothes, we're designing this, that, whatever. That was really cool. Next chapter is called Mr. Hublot's World, and I love this chapter. I felt that this was probably the biggest chapter, and it focuses just on the props, the furniture, the sets, the landscape, the vehicles that we see in this world. And since this is based in a steampunk world, everything is so cool. If you're obsessed with steampunk, this is definitely the short and book for you. They put a lot of time and effort into this, and I just loved we got to see things you normally don't see in an animated film because they're so focused on like, oh, we gotta focus on this, and the story, and this character, and this character. There were two characters. So, like, there's a whole page devoted to the door. Like, his door has all these locks. First off, Mr. Hublot is very OCD. He always has to turn the lights off before he leaves, and he has to double lock everything. And so that's a very big part of his character, and I loved that we had just pages focusing on some of his neuroses. Very cool, and then we get to go outside, we get to see the buildings, we get to see the cars. I love this. I thought this was a wonderful chapter, probably my favorite chapter of the whole book, and I'm very much a character-heavy, loving person, but I liked the props. So the next chapter is animation and post-production. This was really cool. We got to see the actual animation itself. I mean, there's not animation in this book, but it takes you through the process. So we see some test footage of animators, you know, filming themselves, and they use that as reference, and I thought that was cool that that was included. We also get to see just the process of creating an animated film. You know, animation has lots of layers. Like, you start with the character, you animate that, then you add the texture, and then you add lighting, and then you add this, and then you add that, and boom, you render and it's done. So I really enjoy when animated films focus on this animation process. The fact that there was a whole chapter devoted to this instead of just a few pages, I think is great. So yes, yes, yes. This book, definitely buy it. It is so cool. It won the Academy Award, so there's lots to learn, especially if you're an animation student, you want to learn more. Yeah, study up, this is great. Now, the thing is, you cannot buy this book anywhere except on their website. You can't buy it on Amazon, you can't buy it on a book repository, so I'm sorry. But you can buy it on their website, mrhublot.com. That's mrhublot.com, and that's where you can go and buy the book. So please do. They sent me this book. They were so kind enough to send it all the way from Europe. Really kind of them, and I definitely support this studio and think that you should pick up this book. So yes, do it. Alright guys, that is all I have. Be sure to like, subscribe, and comment on this video, and buy the book if you're interested. And that's all I have for you. So until next time, I'm Morgan, and this is the Rotoscopers YouTube.